Hi everyone, it is Atia here at Booking In with Atia. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do my weekly wrap up, and then I have a little bit of a mini book haul at the end, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna dive right in, starting with what I finished because I didn't DNF anything last week, which is awesome. So again, I'm going to split this into novels/novellas, and then I'll go into manga and manhwa, and then we'll talk about the picture books, what I made progress in, and then my pages and audio for the week as well. So starting with what I finished in novels and novella, I finished Akata Warrior by Nnedi Okorafor. This is book 2 in the Insibidi Scripts series, book 1 being Akata Witch. This continues on with the story of Sunny and her friends as they are learning more about juju and learning more about being leopard people and living in this secret society of magical people. And I really liked it, honestly. Again, this was a reread for me. I reread Akata Witch and Akata Warrior so that I could continue on into Akata Woman, which I did start last week, so my plan was working. Akata Warrior continues to build on the character dynamics that we see in Akata Witch, and we get to see Sunny just blossoming and growing more and becoming more independent and more sure of herself. And again, it was a reread, so I knew that I already enjoyed it, and upon rereading it, I gave it 4.25 stars. I also finished The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. This actually isn't a novel or novella, it's a comic, and I probably should have put it in the same section with manga and manhwa, but it'll act as a transition. And this one follows so it takes place in Mumbai, I think modern day Mumbai, and we follow the goddess Death, and she is being called to the higher ups, like the god, I believe his name is Vishnu, and he's like, yeah, so you're actually going to be fired, because being different gods and goddesses, it's being a job, or it's having a job. And she's like, I'm deaf. Humans die all the time. You can't fire me. And so Vishnu tells her, he's like, well, there's going to be a mortal born very soon, as in today, that will cure mortality and will have the key to immortality. And so you are no longer needed. And he's like, we're gonna send you down to earth and you will live as a mortal. And we follow, she becomes this woman called Layla Starr, and we follow her through these many cycles of death as she tries to find this human being who is going to create the cure to mortality. And she essentially is trying to find him to end him so that she can get her job as Death back. And it was an interesting look at what we consider to be humanity, what makes us human, what doesn't make us human. And I just wanted more. I think that it could have, I don't know, something was missing for me. I liked the art style, I liked the concept, but the execution did not work as well as I would have wanted it to. And I gave it 3.25 stars, which isn't bad. It's just, I don't know, something was missing, which is why it's not a 4-star, which is what I thought it was going to be when I went into it. And then moving on to manga and manhwa, I finished volume 5 of Witch Hat Atelier. This is a fantasy series about a little girl who becomes a witch after really being in love with magic and witchhood because something happens to her mother. We're following her through her training as a witch's apprentice, and I gave that 4 stars. Then I read volume 2 of The Remarried Empress. This follows an empress who was supposed to be the emperor's everything, but then he gets a concubine or mistress or whatever, and she's being pushed out, and there's a little bit of another romance happening there, and I gave volume 2 4 stars. Then I read volume 8 of Platinum End, and I gave that one 5 stars. I am really enjoying the Platinum End series. This one is a urban fantasy about picking the next gods. I did not expect what happened in volume 8 to happen. Yeah, I don't even want to say anything more, but it was good. It was good. I was not expecting that. Then I read Blood on the Tracks volume 13. This is a horror manga, and I gave that one 4.5 stars. I read Blue Period volume 13 13, and I gave that one 4 stars. That is a contemporary manga about a boy who finds out, I think he's like a sophomore in high school, that he wants to pursue art seriously even though he has no experience with art, and we just follow his journey as he begins that process and is trying to figure out like what makes a good artist. And then I read Happiness Volume 2, and this one follows a boy who has been suddenly turned into a vampire. This is by the same mangaka as Blood on the Tracks, and this is also like paranormal horror, and I gave Volume 2 of Happiness 4 stars. Then on to picture books. I finished Between Two Windows, which tells the tale of these two kids. They live in adjacent apartment buildings and they find a way to communicate through their windows, and it's a cute story about friendship, and it relies heavily on the artwork to tell the story, which was pretty cool. Like there are some pages where there's no words or maybe 2 or 3 words on the page, and I ended up giving Between Two Windows 4 stars. Then we have Mira's Curly Hair. This is about a little girl who does not like her curly hair. She wants her hair to be smooth and straight and sleek like her mother's, and this looks at how the images of family members can influence young children, and I also really enjoyed the art style in this one, and I gave it 4 stars. And then I read, well, this one isn't a picture book, it's a board book called One, and this is a super cute learning tool featuring a soccer team of Black girls, and I read this to my little cousin. I actually read all of these to my little cousin, but I specifically read this one to my little cousin because it helps with just counting. So there's like 1 and there's 1 Black girl, and then it goes to like 2 and there's 2 Black girls, and it counts all the way up to 10, and I thought that was really cute. And that's it for what I finished. Now moving on to what I made progress in. I made progress in What the Fireflies Knew by Kai Harris, Promise by Rachel Eliza Griffiths, Room to Dream by Kelly Yang, Lyric by Gray Huffington, and Akata Woman by Nnedi Okorafor. And that all accumulates to a total of 1,787 pages and 7 hours and 52 minutes of audiobook listening. And that is how my week went. In terms of this mini book haul, it really is. 2 of these I did not pay, well actually none of these I paid full price with, hence why I bought them. But 2 of them I got off of Pango Books because I had available funds from a sale of mine, and I decided to add them to my collection. And so that is going to be Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan and Block Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This is books 1 and 3, I believe, of the Hoops series. I was sent what I believe is book 2. I'm pretty sure it's book 2. I was sent Hook Shot a few months ago and by the publisher, and I never read it because I wanted to read the first book and I just never got around to getting or reading the first book. And I was like, you know what? I really enjoy these covers. They're just very nice and slick and clean looking. And so I went on Pango Books to see if anyone was selling the 2 books I needed to round out that trilogy, and they were. This follows 3 separate couples, of course, so 1 couple per book, and I believe these are basketball romances, which is nice. And then we have The Secret Diaries of Charles Ignatius Sancho by Patterson Joseph, and this one I think was like half price or something on Amazon, and I just happened to be looking through and I was like, you know what, it's already on my list to buy, so why not? And this one is about a real life person. So Charles Ignatius Sancho was a real person, but this is a fictionalized version of his diaries. And he is, I'll just read a little blurb. It's finally time for Charles Ignatius Sancho to tell his story. One that begins on a slave ship in the Atlantic and ends at the very center of London life. A lush and immersive tale of adventure, artistry, romance, and freedom, set in 18th century England and based on a true story. I'm really loving historical fiction, and so I was like, you know what, let's just add it to the cart and get it here. And then the last book that I bought is one that I've already read. I read this book 2 years ago maybe, and I gave it 5 stars. It was on sale, and so I finally picked it up, and that is Craving a King by Louise Lennox. And this is book 1 in the Sexy Sovereign series. This is about a woman who ends up falling for the 14th king of the Ashanti. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorite romances, and I am glad to finally have it in my collection. All right, everyone, that is it for my weekly wrap up. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed and that you've hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I come up with a new video. All the links to my socials are down below, as well as the links to my Amazon wish list, my Etsy shop, and my Pango Book storefront. And I will see you in another video. Bye!
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm in the sky.